Welcome back, Kiss Army, to another episode of We Are One. Here I am, here you are, we are one. Welcome to the Psycho Circus and welcome to the show, Kiss Army. Paul Stanley has been making the rounds, taking interviews during this COVID-19 pandemic, and in one of these interviews, he did an interview with Richard Marx on social distancing, and in that interview, Paul actually made some comments about his voice, his aging vocals. So we're going to take a look at that today and see what Paul said, coming from blabbermouth.net, which clipped out the commentary and the dialogue that Paul was talking about when he was talking about his voice. The article is titled, "Kisses Paul Stanley, Is My Voice What It Was 20 Years Ago?" Answer, no. During an appearance on episode 19 of Richard Marx's social distancing talk show, Kiss frontman Paul Stanley was asked how he is taking care of his voice on the end of the road tour in light of the fact that many of the band's songs are challenging to sing. Is my voice what it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? No. A great athlete can't replicate what they did in their early years, so I tend to think of myself in that way, because vocals that I've done in the past almost were athletic in nature, and it's not possible in the same way at this point. Somebody will come and say to me, "You don't sound like you did on Kiss Alive." Kiss Alive is what? Almost 50 years or 45 years ago? And I said, if you want to hear me sound like that, put on that album. It's not possible now. Paul added, "What I found interestingly is that the singers that I know who do something similar to what I do, we all commiserate and we all talk to each other. And one of the first things we say when we meet up is, are you having a hard time hitting those notes? Are you still singing in the original keys?" And one of my friends said, "If I knew I would be singing this song in my 70s, I would have written it in a different key." Ever since his Kiss End of the Road Tour Trek launched in January 2019, there has been persistent online chatter about Paul allegedly singing to a backing tape. The speculation stemmed from the fact that Paul had been struggling to hit high notes in many of the band's classic songs for a number of years. Former Skid Row singer Sebastian Bach defended Kiss against claims that the band is using pre-recorded tracks during its farewell tour, saying that Paul sings his butt off live during an early 2019 concert in California. "I have seen way more obvious use of backing tracks than with Kiss," Sebastian wrote. Bach's comments came just hours after Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx called out another band for using taped vocals during its live performance after it previously derided other groups for doing the same thing. Sixx wrote on Twitter, "Certain band out there on the road right now putting other bands down and saying that they are all a real rock band. No background singers and no old people. Cranky comments except his lead vocals are on tape. People in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks. Get off my lawn, Wizard of Oz" are the hashtags. Those are pointless hashtags. Most fans assumed that Sixx was referring to Kiss, especially since Kiss bassist and vocalist Gene Simmons had previously slapped bands who used backing tapes for not being honest enough to include the fact in their concert tickets. After Kiss played on NBC's America's Got Talent in September 2018, Paul was asked by Rolling Stone if that was actually a live performance if he and his bandmate tracked it earlier. "What you tend to do is record it live the way you know that everything is as it should be. It's not like going into the studio or anything like that. It's with all imperfections. It's live." And what Paul's talking about on America's Got Talent on that appearance in 2018, if you remember that, that's when they debuted those Creatures of the Night costumes, I believe. And they played, and when they're asking Paul whether that was live, it's live in the sense that it was pre-recorded in one take, not in the sense that they were playing everything live right there, because when you're on live TV like that, you have to have that pre-recorded fact to ensure that nothing goes wrong on the technical side of things. That's the same reason they lip sync their performances on the Thanksgiving Day Parade, for example, where they can perform their track live first and then they'll sing it back. And same thing on the New Year's Eve special, they'll do the same thing there. So it's just any number of shows is what they'll do that. They do that on all the late night shows too, so none of that is actually live. It's all pre-recorded live in one take, but it's not actually live. So it's not like studio where they layer it, and Paul will take 6 vocals, and Tommy will try the solo 3 times, and Eric will try different fills. Rather, it is live in one take is the sense of what Paul's talking about there. So, in terms of Paul talking about his vocals, Paul makes some excellent points about the fact that he's 50 years older than he was when he was singing some of these songs earlier. So, good news about that is that if it's done, 50 years ago, Paul's singing it now in a different key. The fact that he's still singing it is something that I'm personally grateful for, and something that I'm glad that I get to see continuing to go on. It's not the same Kiss Alive that it was, but it's still Kiss all the same. Paul's still singing those songs, still playing those songs, still getting up on stage nearly 70 years old in all that gear, putting his makeup on for all of us. So I'm pretty proud of Paul for that point. And I'm just going to appreciate it and be grateful for it as long as I can, as long as the Center of the Road Tour lasts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you, Kiss Army. Remember, God gave rock and roll to you, and God bless.
God bless you all.